Welcome to Om Times TV, a division of Om Times Media and Broadcasting.
Consistently attract soulmate clients. Begin showing up on brand, monetizing on your calling. Welcome all spiritual coaches, leaders, healers, light workers, and practitioners to a show that turns you on in your business and amplifies your magnetism. I'm host, catalyst, and spiritual business coach Rosalyn Fung, and I'm here to journey with you into the juicy and help you discover where the real gaps are. Ignite your mindset and soul with strategies and systems as each episode takes you to the sweet spot that activates your soulgasmic business. Enjoy this light language activation as we begin to magnetize and monetize. Hello, my loves. Welcome to another incredible, juicy episode. I'm going to ask you a few questions because then if you're nodding to one or all of these questions, this episode is for you today. So how can you use your anger work for you instead of against you? And do you struggle with taking up space? I know a lot of you in my audience, you do. So you're tuning in. And do you get mad at yourself often? You know, you do something where you would consider it a mistake and that inner critic is so loud. Well, you definitely are going to want to tune in to today's episode on the power of sacred rage. Now, before we do that, I know I've been getting a lot of questions around what exactly my group coaching mastermind hybrid program is called Ascension Business Academy. This is for impact hungry and ambitious coaches, light workers, healers, therapists, practitioners, body workers. Go from struggling to standing out in the noise, because let's face it, it's noisy out there, to have the roadmap and activations to boldly show up and stand out so that you can confidently magnetize your soulmate clients and monetize on your calling with my Illuminate Method. As a former registered psychologist turned Akashic visionary life and business soul coach, inside this potent container, I help my clients take all of their ideas and put them into a clear path of action towards their big vision, dream, and business. I help my clients overcome self-doubt, believe in themselves in that next level, and then unleash their next level version of themselves and embody that yummy, sacred sales energy that magnetizes and converts clients, and embody confidence to show up authentically, boldly, and unapologetically, of course. And inside this container, I have my experts, leading coaches in social media, copywriting, and energy clearing who are just as passionate as I am in helping you take your impacts to that next level and monetize. So if you're like, oh, where do I sign up? Where do I get on a call with you, Roz? DM me on Instagram, Bold Sexy Warrior, or on Facebook here, Rosalyn Fung Coaching, Bold Sexy Warrior, or rosalynfung.com. All of it is in the show notes. And let's go on a discovery call to make sure that this is a good fit for you. In the show notes here, you can also go and click on the link for my free masterclass, Bust Procrastination, Boldly Show Up, and Sign Soulmate Clients. All right. Now, without further ado, I cannot wait to share with you my special guest, one of my soul sisters that I actually met here on Facebook. And I'm really excited. You're going to love her vibes. She's a bold, sexy warrior herself. This is Tasha Renee. Tasha is the CEO of Sisterhood of Sacred Fire and a co-creatrix of its Women's Sacred Rage programs. She is also a psychic, a Reiki master, a hypnotherapist, and has her AA in transformational psychology and holistic health. I am so excited to have you here today, Tasha. Welcome, love.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I just love you guys. I fucking love you so much.
Oh my God, it is just amazing when we just like found each other and divinely guided on Facebook. I was like,
Always.
this. Oh my God.
Yeah. Always.
And it was like I'm remembering when we got to connect in the DMs and just like have so much amazing conversation. I was like, oh my goodness, we need to have you get your message out there in a bigger way. So I'd love for you to share. I know that you are co-founder of Sisterhood of Sacred Fire, and unfortunately, your lovely soul sister and partner, Jacqueline, couldn't make it today.
No.
But we know and we've called it her in spirit. She is here.
Yes.
And we're speaking on the behalf of your powerful business. I'd love to have you share your story. It's so powerful, love. And when you told me, I was almost in tears. So how did you get to be who you are today and really be and do and have what you are here for?
Yeah, thank you for that opportunity. And yes, missing Jacqueline today. She's at a wedding in back east. So, you know, she definitely could make it. Yeah, I know. So, but yes, so thank you for that beautiful intro. And again, just the opportunity to speak about this powerful work, because it's just really important. And we need more spaces for women, especially, to be able to step into this part of themselves.
1000%.
So yeah, well, I'm 46, so I have quite a large story. So I'll try to keep it to 5 hours. Just kidding. You know, I grew up in a household with 3 other siblings. 2 were step siblings. 1 was my biological brother, and they didn't really seem to need as much as I did. I've always been an empath. I've always been psychic. Nobody knew this, even myself.
Wow.
And I really, really craved attention from my father. I really wanted a relationship with him. He was like the life of the party, and he was very intense. And when he was angry, it was, you know, oh my gosh. He was just a really incredibly passionate man, and still is. I talk like he's not here, but he's still here, but just not in my life. But anyways, I spent a lot of time asking him for attention and asking him to spend time with him, and he would reject me every single time. I can count on one hand how many times my father spent time with me in my whole life. And as a teenager and an Aries teenager, I very much was not able to keep my emotions to myself when I was emotionally rejected and emotionally abandoned. And so it was, fuck you, I hate you, you don't understand me, you know, you don't love me, you know, the things a teenager would say when she's being rejected. But my parents did not look at it that way. They looked at it as, why do you think the whole world revolves around you? Why do you have to be, you know, why are you so sensitive? Why do you need so much? You're too much? You know, if we give that attention to you, we have to give that attention to all the siblings, and there's not enough to go around right now. It was just a lot of just stuff. So I was kicked out at 17. And I took all that anger and rage, and I put it into my adult relationships. And I became, you know, when I would get emotionally rejected, right? Like some type of no was given to me, whatever. You know, I would throw shoes through windows. I would throw phones. I would punch walls. I would scream, all the things. And then on the other side of it, I was a massive people pleaser. So I was doing this a lot through everything for my whole life, because I didn't want anyone to be pushed away by this thing that had pushed my family away. And so then there was lots of times when people would be like, why are you so angry all the time? And I'm like, what are you talking about?
With a smile, yeah.
Which would make me more pissed, because I was trying so desperately to not show the anger. And it just seeps out of you. Like, it's an energy that comes from you. You can't like make go away, you know? So you can't people please it away. Can't smile it away.
And anyway, how old are you at this point where you were?
Well, this is probably, you know, I mean, from a teenager on, all of my relationships, really, all of them, up until my awakening, probably and that's a whole nother podcast. In 2000, like 9, I had my spiritual awakening. And then that's when I started to kind of like work through some things. But getting into where I'm at currently, fast forward into November of 2020, when I had my own sacred rage, like scream moment in my kitchen organically. So this work that I'm in is not something that was like, oh, let's look at the market and be like, oh, nobody's doing this. Maybe we should do. It was like, this was a very divinely downloaded thing that happened that was just very beautiful. And I feel very grateful. But anyways, up until this November 2020, I mean, I've become very, very self-aware of how I am and how I relate to things. And when things aren't going right in my life, it's a lot of what am I doing? What am I thinking? What is in me that's blocking me from my abundance and all the things? And so one day I was in my kitchen, I was going through all the like mental, physical, emotional, no, it's not that, all the emotions, grief, whatever. And then I get to anger and I'm like, oh, I'm still pissed. And I realized that I'd not given myself permission to just be angry. It was always this spiritual bypassing of, well, I'm super angry at my dad and my family and my ex and all these things, but you know, hurt people. And, you know, we come here on this earth to like do the things. And, you know, it's like a spiritual bypassing where you just like, I call it the tissue effect, where you're like, you're in the stuff and somebody hands you a tissue and now your process stops. Right. And then toxic positivity on top of that. Well, you know, shouldn't focus on the anger stuff because it's just going to make me more angry and it's going to do all these things that push people away again. So there's that toxic positivity that came in. And when I realized I was doing this, then I was like, okay, that's not okay. That's not going to let it come out. And then I thought about judgment, even though I hadn't talked to my family in like, what, I don't know, 15 years at this point or 14 years at this point. I still pictured like, oh, well, if you get angry, then you're all the things your family said you were. And then that made me more fucking pissed off because I was like, why do I care about people who don't give a shit about me? So then I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to think about every single tiny little thing that's ever pissed me off. And I'm going to allow myself to just be mad. And so I started walking around my house thinking about, and there's a lot, obviously. And so it was about a 20-minute process. And I remember, so I'm psychic, but I don't hear spirit or see spirit, but I have gift of claircognizance and clairsentient, which is clear knowing and clear feeling. And so I will sometimes know there's a spirit, and especially if somebody's passed on, I will know it's them, but I just won't see or hear them. It's hard to explain. And I remember getting to the kitchen and my ex-boyfriend that had passed over 2 weeks before this happened, I heard him and felt him say, let it all go. And I grabbed onto the sides of the stove and I screamed a scream that has never come out of me. It was not like your normal just scream because you're pissed. It was like all of the things that I'd been thinking about and been angry about had literally attached to that scream and come out of me. It was this low, deep, like demonic almost fucking scream. And it was, my jaw opened up wider. It was very weird. And when I was done, I was like, oh, something just happened. Like I was like, I felt freer. I felt happier. I felt like something really important had just happened. And my whole life's on Facebook. So I was like, I have to get on Facebook and tell everybody about this. And so I did. I get on Facebook. Jacqueline, who I had just added on Facebook like 2 weeks before that, we had had no conversation. She'd not liked any of my things, like nothing. I just saw her and was like, I have to add her. And she was like, she'll tell the story. She's like, oh, when I saw her, I was like, I have to let her. And Jacqueline doesn't let people come onto her page normally. She's very, very intuitive, psychic, not intuitive, she's psychic. And so she's very tapped into people's energy and doesn't. So when she saw me, she was like, her guides were like, you know, accept her. And the reason was because in the middle of it, you see me turn my head and I go, oh, I just got the message. I'm supposed to do a program around this. That's weird. And Jacqueline writes me immediately and goes, I think I'm supposed to help you with that, which is not something she does either, by the way, with somebody she doesn't even know. Mm-hmm. And so we came together and it was supposed to be this thing, you know, where it was kind of like, oh, let's just give women a space to be pissed off. Nobody has a space. Let's just all get together and scream and talk about the things we're mad at. And it was like this surface bullshit. And whoa, was it not surface? It was not surface at all. People were having full detox, shaking, migraines, crying, anxiety, fucking like they felt like they were going to pass out, some of them. It was insane. We were like, oh, wow, guess it's true that your issues are in your tissues. So anyways, that brings us, you know, without talking about the actual program, doing the things, that's kind of the backstory.
Well, no, I would love for you to talk a little.
I'll keep going. I didn't know if you want to be stopped.
Absolutely.
So we started out with
Could we actually just go a little, like maybe slow it down a bit, like, and just, I want to acknowledge you, like, wow, that is so powerful with the letting that guttural scream out. Like when I was talking with you, when we first connected, I was like, tell me more about sacred rage. I actually have never heard of the term sacred rage. And I was like, ooh, I want to learn more about this, because in my work with my clients, like there are times where, because I'm doing somatic healing, and a lot of times it is about letting that anger out and that guttural. And sometimes it's like really scary. It's scary for women, especially, to go there. And so oftentimes I may be the one that models it first. And when I'm screaming, I'm like, whoa, I didn't know that wasn't me. And this was in a group program too. And it was just so powerful. It literally released something. So I had no idea there was an actual term, or unless that was something that you guys coined. But let me know.
No, I mean, it's definitely sacred rage. The term has been trending probably in the last like 6 to 8 months, probably. But when we first started doing this, there was nothing like it. I mean, not, there's always been something like it. I've heard people say, oh, back in like literally like the 70s, my mom did something like this. Like they did a rage type, retreat type thing. So the work's been done. It just hasn't been, it's tough again, with women, and our generation has finally been given permission as women to come forward and not be burned at the stake, literally, to not be chastised for it, to not be, all our generational lineage crap that our mothers and our grandmothers and so on and so on. We get the space to do that. So it's now just starting to feel like this, like, oh, what's that? Oh, that is a problem for me. Oh, that is blocking me. So we first called it the Anger Embrace Program. And I was like, I want people to embrace their anger. And I had a lot of feedback on that, which was like, nobody wants to fucking do that. That sounds scary. Nobody's going to pay us thousands of dollars to come in and let me just hug my anger. Like, nobody's going to do that. And so then it was like, I heard the term sacred rage and I was like, oh, it's that. It's this thing that the rage and the anger, right, is sacred, because once you can alchemize it, which is stepping into the shadow work, because anger is a secondary emotion. Yeah. So it's what's underneath there that you're really trying to get to, and that the anger is fake protecting you from, is what I call it. It's this thing where if people even get close to like that pain underneath, the anger's like, I'm going to fake protect you. Don't come near me. I'm going to push you away. I'm going to self-sabotage. I'm going to passive aggressive. I'm going to people please, whatever the fuck it is that's keeping that person from getting to that painful space, it's going to do. And when it alchemizes, which is where you come in and you do this work, this very deep work, what happens is now it's like, oh, let's just turn the scenario again where somebody comes towards that thing like they did before. And it's like, oh, I have the capacity to hold the different paradigms, which is, that makes me uncomfortable to think about sharing that or talking about that, but I can also do it. Now it's alchemized to courage and bravery and goal setting and motivation. And like, I tell people, it's kind of like having your own boot camp instructor that's like, yeah, that's scary, and we're doing it. And you got this. And, we believe in ourselves, and we know how much healing is on the other side of this thing we're so-called scared of. We see why we're scared of it. It's not just being fearful and running from it. It's like, oh, okay, I'm scared of that, but I know it's good. So a lot of times women have this thing where they're like, I know I should be doing these things, but I just can't do them. I know I should be signing up for that program. I know I should be getting into that relationship and trusting that person. I know I should be going for that job, but I just can't get myself to do it. Well, what happens when your anger's alchemized is now that anger goes, yes, you can. And yes, you fucking will. We don't get into irrational fear of anger.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we don't stop ourselves. We don't get in our own way. We are moving forward because this is life is short. We do the things. We're worth it. Blah, blah, blah. Yes. Instead of it being like, this is too scary. It's overwhelming. I can't, it's a completely different beast that happens. And that's why it's sacred, because it moves you forward.
I absolutely agree with that. Like, I kind of laugh. We were just like, backpedal a bit, and just like, sometimes when people say you need anger management to other people, or like they might be saying about themselves, like, I get angry, I need anger management. I lovingly secretly inside laugh, because that's so surfacey, because anger is it's like, here's anger, and underneath it's a secondary emotion, as you say, and underneath is the hurt, the real deeper, more tender feelings. And anger is a way to protect. So very healthy emotion, except, I grew up thinking it wasn't. So there was a lot of shame around anger and being told I need anger management. So, thank you so much for the work that you're doing. And I just also want to point out, as we're live streaming right now, there are some amazing clients of yours on here saying they took your program beyond amazing. Thank you, Kimberly, for sharing that. Someone else, I can't see their name, but it says I took the course and it was so transformational in my healing and chronic pain.
Yeah, I think that might be Alyssa, possibly. If you put your name on there, whoever just said that, if you put your name in the actual comment.
Thank you. And hello, Joshua. Thank you for tuning in as well. Joshua sharing perhaps some of his thoughts and 2 cents here. So thank you so much about angry spirits don't last long because anger burns energy. I'd love to hear, your perspective on this, Tasha. And he says that calmness generates energy.
Okay, what was the first comment? I'm sorry that he said.
Angry spirits don't last long because anger burns energy. Calmness generates energy.
Calmness, what energy?
Generates.
Okay, yeah. So that this is a big thing to talk about, right? I really appreciate the comment, Joshua. Thank you for saying this, because people will say anger is not productive. It's bullshit. Anger not alchemized is not productive.
Agreed.
Yes, I will agree with you. Out of balance anger that you are refusing to deal with, that you are refusing to look at, that you're refusing to step into and clear, is most definitely going to burn energy. It's going to create problems. It's going to make it so it's not productive. But again, so anger is going to be at the root again of if you're stuck in your business, if you're stuck in your relationship. If not everyone, right? There are definitely people who have worked through their anger stuff and they're like, oh, that's not me. But if you're someone who's like, your body's like reacting to this, even if your mind is like, I'm not that angry of a person, your body's like, fuck you, you're not. Like, you know, your body's like, the people that say like what you said, for instance, where you're like, I'm just not that angry of a person. I'm like, you're the most pissed off person, guaranteed. People pleasers, the most pissed off people on the whole planet.
Absolutely. So much resentment. And it shows up in the body.
Yeah. Oh, big time in the body. I mean, we're talking about, Alyssa, it is Alyssa. Yes. Hi, Alyssa. Alyssa has, oh God, Alyssa, I hope I don't say it wrong. It's CRPS, or is it CPRS? I can't remember. But she, and not that it's the sole reason of why she's recovered from this. Okay. But it is a big part that she wasn't posting any of the posts she is now that say, I had years and years of this stuff, and now all of a sudden I'm in remission and I don't have these issues that I spent thousands and thousands of dollars at. And she did not start posting those until after our program. So it was, yes, we're not the only reason. Alyssa's really the only reason, to be honest. I'm just going to put it out there. She's the sole reason because she did the work. But it is a miraculous thing that's happening in the sense of, we had a woman who had TMJ really bad in her jaw for a year. She couldn't go to sleep at night without a night guard and medication. 3 days after taking our program, it completely disappeared. And her doctor's like, what were you doing? She's like, I don't know. I guess I was pissed. Took an anger embrace program and now it's fucking gone. He's like, well, keep doing that. So it is in your body. It does live in your body. Anger lives in your liver, not the kidneys. Nope, that's fear. In your liver. So it's the filtration system. So if everything's getting filtered through anger, what do you think's happening? You can't people please it away. You can't ignore it. You can't bypass it. It will come up and it will fuck up everything in your life. And if you are a person who, again, is looking at your life and you're like, I'm stuck here, I'm stuck here, I'm stuck here, I'm mad, I get mad at people, I'm passive aggressive, I pick fights on social media all the time, I feel like I hate myself, you have an anger issue. And until you step into that, it's not going to go away. You can't love and light it away. You can't.
Yes. No, you can't. Thank you. We cannot fucking spiritual bypass people.
No.
We cannot. I love you, light workers, but those who are not actually diving into the shadow work with your clients, you are spiritually bypassing. If that's not your specialty, refer out to Tasha, to someone who does the shadow work, because everything is duality and we need to move into that because that's where the medicine is. Yeah. That's where medicine is. And I feel like, in our society, especially for men, and I want to say thank you, Joshua, for just really sharing. Like, I honor you. Joshua says, I'm an angry person. I learned that it's better to be, I'm not sure what you mean by banner than the Hulk. Who's Banner?
Oh, he means to be Banner the Hulk. So it's better to just maybe pop off. Is that what you're saying? To just like let it loose all of us instead of having to like actually clear it out as it comes up. Maybe that's what he's referring to.
Okay, we can jam on that as well. But
Yeah.
what I want to say is, in our society, it's not set up for us to honor anger. I mean, like I shared, in my own upbringing, in my culture, I mean, we are emotionally constipated. I'm
Yep.
Asian, in case you guys are wondering. And it's just like, no, I had so much shame, and I was shamed for being angry. And so I didn't know what to do with those. And so in our culture, we're told, girls are told, be polite. Don't say those things. Don't speak like that. You're being rude. But we're having our voice. And men, they're told, don't cry.
Don't be soft.
Don't cry. And so what happens? Then anger is also accepted. So I feel like our society has made some movement in this. And we still have a long fucking way.
Yeah, and this is why I don't have a wait list for my programs yet, because it's still this matter of trying to make people feel safe enough to be like, oh, like, I don't know you. Why would I step into a container and tell you all of my deepest, darkest bullshit? Because this is the deepest, darkest, this is the deepest shadow work you'll ever do of your life. Anger work, rage work is the deepest. I don't care. It's above ayahuasca trips. It's all of it, because it's right in the center core. If that is something for you, again, this isn't everybody. If you're not like, oh yeah, I really worked through that and done a lot of work on it and I can handle my stuff when it comes up, that's not you. But if you're somebody who hasn't, yeah, it's at the core. So it's really the women that do have the courage to come in, the container that comes in. Jacqueline and I are not trained in trauma. We're not trauma informed as in like we have certifications, but we have our own so much life experience around it that we're able to hold space for all levels of people that come into our program, right? So what happens in that with us sitting here like this, when they start sharing their stories, there's women who have literally said on day one, they're like, I've never been in a container like this. I've never, ever been around women who I knew weren't going to judge me, who I knew loved me after only 3 to 4 hours in a class. Like, that's insane. Women who are like carrying around a sexual secret for 40 years and are like, I just told all of you guys something I've never even said out loud before. Like, how is that happening? It's not the same as coming together and just screaming your face off because you had it up to here again, right? It's about coming together and as a, like, with the same goals and the same things and doing that process together, which is having a whole nother healing aspect.
Absolutely. And it goes to speak about how safe of a container you and Jacqueline create so that these women are able to be saying what they're saying. Like, it is so potent. We're actually going to dive in deeper with that. But before we go into commercial, I wanted to say, like, especially when we aren't honoring our anger because we think that it's not okay to be angry, we don't know what to do with this, to alchemize it, to, I'm going to use the word channel it into something more, more quote unquote productive for you. So that you can be moving forward into your birthright of joy. That's why we struggle with addictions. Men go into drinking, right? We can go into sex. We can go into gambling. We numb ourselves out into porn, like all of these addictive, not just qualities, like addictions. And so if we can really dig deeper and do that work, this is where everything gets, everything is transformative. So we're going to jam a lot more about this after commercial. This is so juicy. I don't even want to go commercial. So stay tuned, my loves. Thank you so much to those of you on the chat here. It's so juicy.
Times TV. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. Om Times Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, Om Times offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an Om Times magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on Om Times TV and broadcasting it across the extensive Om Times radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. Om Times. Open yourself to the possibilities.
Are you feeling maxed out working one-on-one with clients and you're deeply desiring to scale your business for more time freedom without sacrificing your income, but rather expanding it? Many of my clients who are lightworkers, healers, practitioners, and even coaches, they're often multi-modality, are coming to me because they are sick and tired of working with clients on a one-off session model where the clients are coming in on an as-need basis. Or if they're selling packages, they are selling them in the sense of buy 5, get 1 free, or the greater the number of sessions, the greater the discount. The problem with this is it's still a dollar for hours business model. And so that leaves the practitioner feeling really exhausted and overwhelmed from having to put so much time, effort, and energy in finding new clients that they're not operating in their most elevated self with their current clients. And so if this is you, I would love to share with you that it's time to elevate your business and scale it to sell high ticket one-on-one programs or even group programs. This will allow you to have more deeper impacts because you're raising your clients' results, you're scaling your business, and you're having that time freedom you deeply are yearning for. If this is resonating with you, love, I'd love to invite you to come on a soul business alignment call with me so that you can stop feeling like you're on this roller coaster ride and start to feel safe and stable and even having fun in your business and your finances. Please go to electrifymybusiness.com to apply and we'll hop on a call. I can't wait to connect.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Okay, hello back, everybody. So we have been having a really juicy conversation. I'd love to dive in even deeper with you, Tasha, about, as somebody's watching this, you might be new to them and they're going, oh my gosh, like she's speaking to me. What exactly do I do? Like, could you share a little bit more about how you support your clients in your process with Sacred Rage?
Yeah, so I think the best way, really the only way to do that is to tell you kind of what happens in the program because that's really where the process is at, right? So basically what we do is we do a combination of Sisterhood Circle Share, which has its own healing stuff as we talked about. Jacqueline Faith does incredible, amazing, channeled, downloaded teachings around anger, and it's all different types of subjects. And it's funny because there are a lot of women that come into our program or are drawn to us have actually done a lot of anger work. They're like, oh, I've done it. I've done the inner child. I've done the things. But it's really interesting because they haven't done it from the space they're in currently. And whatever they've done, isn't fucking working because you're here and you're drawn to it and you're like, there's something still there. And so what we find is like, even with some of Jacqueline's teachings where maybe it's subjects such as, astrology and anger, or it's about narcissistic abuse damage, or it's about the emotional body, the energetic body, and how anger, affects that. Women who have maybe done some work on that, it's different. It's taught differently. And the women do come in and say, oh, yeah, I thought I'd heard about that, but it's actually different than how I'm hearing it this time or from her. So she's really, really just beautifully does this in a way that I could never. So anyway, so we do that with her. Every week she teaches something different. And then we go into my 4-step anger process. That is my downloaded process, which is a combination of writing everything down that you've ever been pissed off about. Sometimes it's 2 pages, sometimes it's 20, and you read it out loud. And so there's a lot of this taking back your power through your throat chakra. Our throat chakras have been very shut down as women, especially when it comes to anger. We're not allowed to talk about the things. I see super high-powered 6-7-figure coach women never talking about the fact that they're pissed off. There's never anything talked about it. And they don't really talk about it until after it's done. It's like, oh, I don't talk about why it's going on, but I'll talk about it afterwards. And it's like, that's not helping anyone, and that's not helping you. So it's important to have a space where you're literally taking up the space, where it's literally this spot where you're like, oh, I get to sit here for literally maybe 20 minutes and say all the things I'm pissed off about and have space held for me.
Can I just highlight that, what you just shared, because I feel like that's so important to have the audience here again.
Yeah.
It's really important for people to come into a space. And in this case, it's community, in a safe and supported community, where you are allowed and encouraged to take up space, and particularly in the space of honoring your anger.
Yep.
Honoring the feelings. That's so important. Taking up space.
Yeah, I know. Jack and I both spend a lot of time telling them to stop apologizing. Oh, I know I'm talking for a long time, and I will interrupt them. Stop apologizing. And I tell them in the beginning, look, I'm going to do that. It's out of love. I'm retraining your brain. We're rewiring your brain in this class. So stop. And then you'll hear them later on. They'll be like, I was going to apologize for that, but I'm not apologizing. You'll hear it towards the end. They become completely different people, but they do have a problem with it. It's a hard thing. I have to really push them to do that and be okay with that.
You're train their brain, and there's neuroplasticity, right? Our brains are neuroplastic. So it's like,
and again, we're just, especially women, taught to smile, be quiet, do the things where we look like don't cause problems. And, but on the other hand, take care of all the things all at the same time. Take care of the children, take care of the family, take care of the money, take care of all the things, do all the things, right? Oh my gosh, it's irritating how hypocritical it is. But so it's really important when they're reading this out, they get this space to not only take up space, but then the women around them get to be like, oh, me too. I had no idea. So there's all these activations are happening just for that one step. Then we go into some somatic shaking exercise.
Yes.
It's full embodiment. It's a full embodiment cathartic exercise. So what we're doing is we're getting you out of here and we're getting you into your whole body, because again, it's in your tissues, right? So we want to get you in that space where you're just not even giving up. Yes. Everybody's eyes are closed. We're on mute. Nobody's staring at each other, and we're standing up together. I'm doing it too with everybody. We're shaking it out. And then we go into
play music while you're doing that.
No. It's very, very concentrated on what everybody's doing. Right? I don't want any fucking distractions. So yeah. So then we go into some primal breath sounds. So it's like, like that really fiery, just almost animalistic. I want you to start feeling that grr, that really I want you to get your body prepared to fucking scream its face off. That's what we want, right? Mm-hmm. And so then we go into, and I say, while you're doing that, we go back into the shaking when we're done with that. And I have everybody start thinking again about their lists. Start thinking about your list, somebody else's list, the things you're really fucking pissed off at. And I'm getting them to a point where they're just going to boil. And then we 1, 2, 3 scream together. 1, 2, 3, we all scream. And these women are screaming from anywhere from 5 minutes to one woman screamed for an hour and 40 minutes on and off. This is not your typical 1, 2, 3 scream, just scream it out. These are women who are breathe, scream, breathe, scream, breathe, scream. I'm doing Reiki, pulling Reiki off the whole time, and I'm screaming at people. And I'm bringing up the things I've heard. Who touched you? Who took your innocence? Take your fucking power back. Let's get this shit out. This isn't fucking yours. Get that shit out of your fucking body. And it's like, I'm like really just talking them through these things, and it's insanely and powerful to watch. And it makes me teary-eyed, to be honest. I'm getting teary-eyed talking about it because
that work is so fucking powerful.
Yeah, these women just getting to fully fucking release everything in this way where they know they're safe to do it. They know there's no fucking judgment. They know that the things they're screaming about are the things they just wrote on their list. I'm telling you, after a year and a half of doing this, it is no fucking joke. The things they're pissed off about, they're no longer pissed off about. And the pain that's associated with that is fucking gone. It's miraculous. I've never seen anything like it. It is mind-blowing. Yeah. So, and then after that, we do a sacred raging exercise the next week, which is where I actually have them say, and this is where we hold space for each other. There's not we're watching and we're holding space for each woman, and there's like a pillow or whatever, or your mattress or whatever you want to do. And they are hitting something and talking out loud. Fuck you, I hate you. They're like, I want to kill you, whatever the fuck it is, right? And they're doing the physical thing, while we're holding space with that.
Yes.
And then there's Reiki and there's hypnotherapy as well to integrate the energies throughout the body. So there is no detox, because that detox I was talking about doesn't happen anymore for most people. You still feel tired, you feel drained and all the things.
I call that the emotional hangover.
Yeah. And we have a chat going on that's 24/7 with me and Jacqueline in it, that's open before, during, and after. So there's a lot of, like, if something comes up, they're like, oh, I'm feeling this, or I'm having a hard time with this. And nobody's ever expected to support another person. Like, that's mine and Jacqueline's job. But it's beautiful to have that space to come in and just say whatever it is you want to say. And the women 9 times out of 10 do support the other women, because, you know, they're after day one, these women are like, these are my besties. As you can tell, the women in here were like knew each other, and like they become like, there's some women have become best friends. I see stuff now, even months, 6, 7, 8 months later, they're still supporting each other on Facebook. Like, it's an actual sisterhood. Your sisterhood wounds definitely get healed in this, amongst so many other things.
Oh my God. My heart is just like, whoa, listening to the sacredness of this work. Because I have had pieces of that as a client in similar personal development courses I've taken. But like, I love how you've like really zoomed in specifically to deal with the deeper stuff on an anger theme, and just like expanded that. And this is what this program is for. And that work is so needed, so much needed for women. I'm going to say for men. Do you, and Jacqueline, I know you mostly target women, but do you also have men come into these groups, or is that something in the
No, they're women only currently, but the universe keeps sending us. We almost did a men's in-person retreat at the end of July. We had it set up in Boston, Massachusetts. We got a location and everything. And it wasn't in flow just yet. And so we're just kind of like, we want to, I feel like we're going to need a men's facilitator there in order for me to feel honestly safe enough to do that, because a lot, I've talked to men who facilitate the anger embrace or the anger programs. And they're just, men's anger is a whole different ball game that I don't really feel like I feel safe holding space for by myself, or even with Jacqueline. So, but one-on-one, we definitely would take a man one-on-one and do that between the two of us, and do some one-on-one work. If a man was like, oh, I really am drawn to what you do and how you do it, we most definitely would do that. But a group is not quite.
Because I mean, really at the heart of this is we're working with the little boys inside them. We're working with that young inner child, and same with the women. We're working with that sweet little thing that's innocent, that has all these big feelings and doesn't know what to do with it. So that's why, as adults, it looks like addictions. It looks like we need anger management, quote unquote.
Yeah.
We have anger problems.
Yeah.
But really, we need something to be seen. We need to feel acknowledged, and we need to honor. And I'm going to I probably sound like a broken record, but I feel like that was one of my greatest lessons. And it's probably why I so love the work that you and Jacqueline do, is that we are here to honor the emotions that are quote unquote negative. I'm going to say healthy because all emotions are healthy. What we choose to do with them makes it healthy or unhealthy.
Yep.
So how beautiful that you have this community, this program that really allows people to look deeper into this and to alchemize those feelings, to truly understand them and alchemize them. Like that's, oh, so yummy. And then, oh my gosh, can you talk a little bit about, we have some clients here watching the show and live streaming, commenting. So amazing. Thank you so much, my loves, for being here and supporting your Tasha here. Like, just amazing to speak to the work, how important it is. Spread the word, share this podcast, please, because this needs to get out there. And can you speak to perhaps some of your clients, now that it's 6 to 8 months later, like what are you noticing about them besides the friendships? They're like, how are they showing up in the world now?
It's funny because I've seen money manifested, I've seen jobs manifested, I've seen relationships happen, I've seen a lot of interesting things happen when they come in and they're super pissed off at one person to the point where they can't even say their name. And then by the end of the program, they literally have pictures of these people together. Family members they haven't heard from in forever. They're super pissed off about all of a sudden show up. Now they're like in cahoots together and they're fine again. Psychic abilities come out. Women have started businesses out of their psychic ability. One woman ended up doing light language from the program.
So awesome.
Yeah. When she was like, was there an Indian man talking during the hypnotherapy session? And I was like, no.
That was your
And
chance.
she had never had any psychic experience ever. And literally was like, now does light language, has a business, all the things. But I think the biggest thing that happens is you're able to hold the different paradigms. These women are like they have their sacred no back. They're not people pleasing anymore. They're in their power completely. They don't give a fuck if anybody judges them. They're at peace on the inside. And then their physical pain, if they have that, is also next to nothing, if not completely fucking gone. So, and they're noticing, I have my friend Grace, I only say names when I'm allowed to. Grace is still to this day will write me and be like, a year ago, she took the program almost. She'll come in and say, so this came up and this came up and I know it's because of your program. I know I was able to do it because I alchemized my fucking anger. So it gives you a space to be yourself authentically. It clears out the blocks and it allows you to just fucking exist at the most sovereign being level that you're supposed to have. Think about what that energy is going to do when that goes out into the world, because our energy where we're at reflects back to us. So literally sky's the fucking limit. You don't get into shitty relationships anymore. People who treat you like crap aren't allowed in your fucking life anymore. I mean, really the power of your throat chakra is completely fucking healed in that aspect. Like your voice and your power is completely back.
Yeah, I can. And even just as you guys are tuning in to Tasha, you can really feel that from her speaking her truth and her sharing about her gifts and the work that she's doing. You can feel her power. And that when you feel somebody's power, that is magnetic. That is so magnetic. Your voice, when you are absolutely embodied in your truth and you're absolutely able to show up in the world unapologetically, that's energy, that's magnetic to the people, to the things, to the opportunities that are aligned with you and your vibe. Like that is so incredible. Love it. So in the last few minutes of my show, usually we do a guided meditation. Now I feel like I'm all actually like revved up. Like not in anger, but like I'm just
no, but you're like lit up. You're like lit up.
Yeah. Lit up about this work. And it doesn't feel aligned for me to do more of a guided meditation. I'm wondering, and Tosh, you can totally be like, shit, Roz, you didn't tell me this, so I'm just gonna spring it on you. But I wonder if we could play with some of that like ecstatic movement. I'm wondering if you'd be able to like do a little bit of that with our audience.
I have no idea what that would look like, Rosalyn. Because unless I'm gonna you could shake it out and do some animalistic sounds, some primal sounds if you guys want to do
it. Are you open for that?
I guess let's do it. Shit.
Okay, thanks for playing with me.
Rosalyn. Okay, well, this is what we call messy action entrepreneurs.
You can be bad at me and then use that.
being just going, okay, here's the moment. So let's just step into that shit. This is also, by the way, not something anybody could do if their anger wasn't alchemized, because they'd be ashamed and embarrassed, and there's no fucking way. So again, able to take those moments and do something
that
with
into the context of, you know, like really like when there's a time and place to do this. And we're just giving a example.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's just a short, like, yeah. So if everybody wants to close their eyes, you can stand up if you want to. I would suggest you stand up. It would be easier to stand up probably, but you can, I don't know, I'll play around with sitting in my chair this time for the first time. So yeah, let's close our eyes and let's just take in maybe one big deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And maybe just for a minute, maybe 30 seconds, I want you to just kind of like start thinking about, you probably already have been, started thinking about some of the things you're kind of maybe a little bit angry about, a little bit pissed off about. And let yourself like feel the emotions of that. Surrender to that, have non-attachment to outcome to that, and allow that to kind of just come up in your body for a minute. And while we're doing that, I want you to start shaking out your arms. Keep doing some deep breaths with some sounds as you're exhaling out. Move your shoulders up and down, let your jaw fall open. If you're standing up, I want you to go ahead and get into your knees and just bounce into your knees. Again, you're just letting that stuff come up and come out.
I'll do the stand-up version.
Yeah, do it, girl. Do it. Go ahead. There you go. Perfect.
I'm full out here.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. I mean, I can stand up with you if you really want me to.
Yeah, good girl.
So yeah, go ahead, just stand up, and then I want you to, now we're going to go ahead and just get into some primal sounds. I want you to really, you can mimic me at first if you're, confused on that. I would suggest you close your eyes also, so you're not looking at yourself, you're in your body, and we're just going to do this just for about 30 seconds. Ready? Here we go. It's like a fire breath. And I want you to get is like just, I want you to like growl if you can, like really get deep. Almost like I said, like a kind of a demonic evil type thing, but it's not like it's your real true just, we all have animalistic feelings and things in us. Let that come up and come out.
And it feels like it's coming from the gut, right?
Yeah, coming from, but it's a lot of your throat chakra. Yeah, it's a lot of your throat and your chest. I like to tell people too to like throw their hands out and put their chest inside, so you're throwing something out of your hands. So very staccato. Okay. So yeah. So then what we would do is
like full out here.
Yes, do it, girl.
I feel like it needs to come from the gut for me.
Yeah, it is. It's down deep. So it's wherever it's deep within you. But you're like, when you're coming out, it's like coming up to come out. So picture it from here and then coming out of your throat. So yeah. Yeah.
I have a comment that somebody's at work and they're gonna like come back on the replay.
Yeah, the thing is too is like a lot of people are like, how am I gonna like scream? How am I gonna do all the things? And it's like, you scream into a pillow.
Sometimes it's about doing it in your car, on your, just go in your car.
Yeah, even with people in your house, if you scream into a pillow, they're not gonna hear you.
Yeah, I have clients. Sometimes I do this kind of work in too. Maybe not to this degree, but
yeah. It's funny you bring Joshua. It's funny that you bring up Amber Heard, because really a lot of our work, I'm not even kidding. I'm focused. I saw her and I was like, that bitch needs my program. And so we're really focused on literally trying to get to celebrities. I mean, like how would have Britney Spears' life been different if she would have gotten into our program? Like straight up. Like how different would that have been, right? So yeah, definitely trying to go that route.
Oh my gosh, that is so powerful. How are you all feeling, love? So I want you to tune in to the sensations in your body just from this little exercise. You're watching me, you might have been laughing. That is all good. I'm playing full out and I'm playing along, and it's also very powerful. Like I feel very fucking energized.
And relaxed.
The core feels very opened and just like tingling. So I'm just going to invite you, because I know that there's no right or wrong in terms of what transpires inside, just to take a breath in. And then just as you breathe, release all of that into Mother Earth. Let it be transmuted into positive energy. And I'm just going to drop in some light codes and just support you in this alchemizing and the clearing of whatever doesn't serve and support, and the healing And the activations. Morakia sira kora tinira kora kia sarku orakia moratuarakia semorakia katsua. Morakia su orakia surkora tinira kora kua. Morakia Morakia surkora tinira kora kia surkora tinira kia orakia sarkora tia. Morakia sira kora tinira. Breathing in. And slowly out. Beautiful. Just taking your time, regulating your breath. Thank you, my loves, for being here live and on the replays. And my love, where can people find you?
sisterhoodofsacredfire.com. We have a in-person program starting in June for Portland, Oregon, if you're in that area. So that's our first one. So if you're interested in that, let me know. We have one-on-one and we have a 2-month program too. So yeah, that's the best way to get a hold of me.
Phenomenal. And also, if you're not in the area, do inquire about the online course. So thank you so much, my love. I honor you.
Thank you to everyone who showed up.
And thank you, everyone that showed up and shared your beautiful thoughts, your love for Tasha, and so excited for you guys to connect.